Alright, how's it going, everybody? Gonna start my first project on the truck. Gotta tackle the brakes now. Got the master cylinder and the booster as well, because this morning while I was driving to work, I went to stop at the stop sign and realized I had zero brakes at all. Had to run through the stop sign, almost ran into a lady's car. Had to roll my windows down, wave at the lady, hey, stop, hold on. Almost hit her, and it was bad. So now we're gonna be changing the brakes so that I don't do that to anybody else, and so that I can make it to work safely. So I'm gonna take you along for the ride on this project. Also, we're gonna be changing the belts because they are squealing like a pig. All right, here we go with the first video. First big project that we're gonna do is tackle the brakes. Got a leaking master cylinder, and the power brake booster has no reserve at all. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna change that out too. While we're at it, just 4 bolts here for the booster, and everything else is pretty straightforward on the actual master cylinder coming out. All right, so as you can see right here, where it's all kind of damp and wet, that's where the actual master cylinder has been leaking, where it mates to the booster itself. It's a very bad leak, bad enough to where this reservoir that holds your fluid, filled it up this morning after I got done with all the shenanigans. Sat at work all day long, not using it. The whole entire actual master cylinder was bone dry. That's just how bad it's leaking, so we definitely got to get that taken care of. So we're gonna go ahead and start by taking these 2 lines off, loosening the 2 nuts on both sides of the master cylinder, and go ahead and separate it from the booster itself. All right, so as you can see here, I've got the master cylinder off. You can see where it was all leaking down right behind the rear of the cylinder itself. It was I mean, it was an awful leak, honestly. It was really bad. So we're gonna go ahead now. We're gonna take the booster off, which is just got 4 nuts on the inside. Down here by your pedal, you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once those nuts come off, that booster will slide right out. All right, so here we are. We got the 4 nuts off for the booster itself. Now you've also got your brake switch here and this little retaining pin that goes through. There's an actual sleeve on the pedal that the booster will slide over. And then you've got your brake switch and the retaining pin that goes through there. Sorry, you can't see that. And then the booster will slide right off, out of your way, and you pull it out from the engine bay. All right, so here we go. We got the new actual booster in. And one thing that you want to note is the push rod length, right? So when you take your old your booster out, sorry, you're gonna want to count the threads on the actual push rod and make sure that you have the same exact length, just so that you don't run into any other issues with brake engagement, and making sure everything's operating as it's supposed to. All right, so now that we have our new master cylinder attached to the booster, whenever you're installing a master cylinder, you're gonna want to bench bleed it. If you don't have a shop or anything like that, where you have access to a vise where you can clamp the master cylinder down, you just get a buddy, you know, mom or dad, grandma, grandpa kind of deal. You can attach the master cylinder to the booster and then just have them pump the brakes for you while you're holding a hose coming from, you get to where you can see it, from the outlet, right? So you've got your two lines that go to your front and rear brakes. You're gonna wanna take a metal hose is preferable, where you can thread it in and slip a rubber hose over it and make sure that no air is getting into the system at all. But you can take your rubber hose, stick it into the outlet, and then stick it back and make sure it is submerged into the fluid while they pump the brakes. And you're gonna wanna do that on both of them at the same time. You don't just do one at a time. And that is gonna help you bench bleed the actual master cylinder and prep it to where now all I have to do is go in, pump the brakes a couple times, and then bleed the actual rear and the front at the actual drums and the rotors themselves. So that is pretty much gonna wrap up this video for replacing the master cylinder and the actual brake booster on this 83 F150. And that's gonna be it. If you have any suggestions on what I could do better next time, let me know, because this is my first time making videos, and I will continue with the actual restoration of this truck. So let me know what I need to do. Thank you.